just gonna take his little hat off and pour this in and hope that he starts throwing up. I hope, oh, yes. Oh, good. And there you have it. So get a couple of these and you'll be ready for your party. Oh man, look at that. Oh, that's gross. Yes, I love it. Oh my God. Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Noah. So today is part 3 of our super awesome food spooktacular event where I'm gonna be, doing my best to make a whole bunch of spooky foods that I never made before. So bear with me here. All right, so today we're going to be making some bloody and disgusting applesauce. Yes, you heard that right. So we're gonna take some regular simple applesauce and we're gonna make it look all gross and nasty like guts, and I cannot wait. I'm gonna give it to my family and they're gonna be like, what is this? And I'm gonna be like, either you eat it or go somewhere, because I don't care, I want guts. So the first thing that we're gonna be needing is our apple. So I have 3 kinds here. I have, of course, the Golden Delicious, Honeycrisp, and our Granny Smith. So these here for me are the, what is it called? The Holy Trinity? Yeah, Holy Trinity of apples when it comes to making applesauce. So, but of course, like any kind of apples that you have will work. Usually I go apple picking every fall, but for some reason this time it just was not panning out. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's a sign from the universe telling me not to go upstate to go apple picking, because I'm probably gonna get hit in the head with an apple and die. So I'm like, you know what, let me just go to the supermarket and get my apples from there. I'm sure it'll be fine. So the first thing that we're gonna be doing is peeling and cutting our apples. So I'm just gonna do 1 and then fast forward through the rest of my 12 apples. Got a nice big bruise in here, but that's fine. That's honestly like the perfect kind of apple to use for applesauce, because you don't really want to eat it. But when you turn it into applesauce, the bruise kind of just doesn't matter, which is awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna core our apple and cut them into little cubes. So I know this is not the proper chef way to do this, but I find that it minimizes the waste to just go along here, and then you just take out a very small piece of the core and some of the seeds. So you just kind of run your knife along. Again, not the proper way. Usually people do it fast and just like cut around the sides, but I personally like to take my time and minimize waste. Especially because I'm gonna waste all these apple peels, because I do not feel like making apple chips or some other stuff that you could do with this, with the peels. All right. All right, once I have my apples cut up, I'm just going to add them to a pot filled with cold water. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle some lemon juice in here just to help the apples not turn brown. So keep in mind that we're gonna be draining out this water before we do our applesauce, so the sourness is not gonna affect any of the taste. You can also use vinegar if you want. You just need some sort of acid to keep the apples from turning brown while you're coring, peeling, coring, and cutting all of them. Okay, so I took the lemon water out of the apples, and now I'm just going to put them onto the stove, and we're going to have this on a nice medium heat. So a lot of people like to put the splash of water when they're cooking their apples. I found that when I pour out that lemon water, I can never really get all of it out, and it's usually the perfect amount for me. The other thing is that usually if like when you're making your applesauce and you're mashing it up and stuff like that, and if it feels a little bit too thick, you can always add water then. I'm just always hesitant to add water before the apples reduce, because I don't want to have runny applesauce. So anyway, we're just going to let this cook. I'm going to cover it, and then I will check back in with you guys once these are softened. All right guys, the reveal. So it's totally fine if your apples foam up a little bit. I honestly forgot that these were here because everybody in my house was like, oh, I'm hungry, so I had to stop and make dinner. Anyway, these are more than done. All right, so at this point the apples are pretty much sauced by themselves because they've broken down so much in the pot. But what I like to do is I like to go in with a potato masher, because I do like to have a little bit of chunkiness in my applesauce. It kind of makes it taste a little bit more natural to me, like, oh, this is something that I made. That just might be me. But anyway, you can definitely go in here with an immersion blender. You could pop this in the food processor or a blender. But like I said, like when it's broken down, you could just go in with a potato masher and everything will break up really nicely. Right, so once you're happy with your level of meshiness, you can add some seasonings if you want, or you can just have this plain and unsweetened and it's still totally delicious. I'm gonna be doing a maple cinnamon version today. So I'm gonna be adding in a half a tablespoon of ground cinnamon, as well as 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. I might add a little more syrup, but it's always easier to put more than to take out. So I'm gonna start with 3 tablespoons and then see if I want more. So we're just gonna stir that to combine, taste for seasoning, and then you can add more if you want. All right guys, so as promised, it's time for the guts. So this is my little apple that I carved to look like a little vampire jack-o'-lantern. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill him with some guts that he's puking up. So it's gonna be delicious. So to make it look like guts, I'm just gonna be using a little bit of red food coloring. So I think like 2 drops should be good. I don't really use food coloring too much. You can also use strawberry syrup if you feel like making that. I don't want my applesauce to be strawberry, so I'm just gonna go in with the red. I think 1 more drop. All right, so once I got my guts ready, I'm just gonna take his little hat off and pour this in and hope that he starts throwing up. I hope, oh, yes. Oh, good. All right, guys, that's it for me. I really hope you give this a try. This was a super, super fun Halloween recipe that I really enjoyed making. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and click the little notification bell. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.